Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Finance Committee meeting of the City of Hudson for Monday, February 10th. Call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda is discussion, possible action on minutes from previous meeting from the January 27, 2014. Is there any additions or changes to the minutes? Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
I'll second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is discussion and possible action on claims. Claims for February 10th, 2014 in the amount of $298,636.15. Questions, comments?
I got a couple questions.
Okay.
Quick ones. We've got a couple. Arthur Gallagher and Image Trend. What is that?
Arthur Gallagher is our insurance,
Okay.
our municipal insurance.
Storage tank insurance for 2020.
Right.
Okay.
That's environmental, so if we have a storage tank leak, correct, Nancy?
That's on four locations, 3 tanks at the Muni Garage and 1 at one of the water sites, underground storage tank for the backup generator.
Okay. And TLC or this Image Trend. Spent $1,400. Count 100.25220.
I think that relates to software for both the police department, and I think you'll find a payment to Image Trend charged to EMS too.
Yeah, one for 1,000.
There's probably their annual software support.
Okay. TLC cleaning. Why are we having cleaning services done when we have maintenance?
It could very well be the carpets.
Okay.
We'd have to check.
No, that's over at, I think that's charged to the public safety building and the fire department, and I'm not sure why, Tom's here, he may be able to answer that.
Generally, Jim Fry takes care of the inside of the safety building. Not to pass it off, but
Okay.
they do have a maintenance agreement with the cleaning
Okay.
crew.
We do not have a maintenance person assigned to that building, a staff maintenance person.
Okay.
Not that we couldn't, but
It
we
normally
don't.
is disseminated to the fire chief or someone of his designation, or they've hired it out from
That's
one?
not, they've hired it out for years, it sounds like, correct, Tom?
Yeah.
It's not something new.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Animal Humane Society seemed kind of high this payment period. I don't know why, and why are we paying for grass seed in the middle of January, February?
For what?
Grass seed, $150 worth of landscape, or from John Deere Landscape.
That'd be another question for Tom.
I didn't hear the question.
Why are we paying for, I mean, it's not amount, but it's just kind of a housekeeping, I think.
What was the claim?
Why are we spending, buying grass seed in the middle of February?
For $150.
There's probably an invoice from earlier in the fall when we did stumps.
And it is,
I just wonder if it's a carryover. I know we did some stumps late season, or it was maybe in November.
is
It
it-
Was
a
the date of the
December-
invoice?
I can because I saw the invoice and it's a December order. I think there was some notation on the purchase order that was for Coons Hill.
Unless they ordered the grass seed, so we have it for spring, but
my purpose of bringing it up is not the dollar amount, but the way it is handled. Once you get an invoice, it needs to get down, stamped, and sent out within the billing time. Shouldn't be 3 months, 4 months.
I'll check on that.
Okay. Thank
I'm
you.
done, thanks.
All right.
Move for approval.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the discussion, possible action of operator's license. There's a recommendation to approve 5 regular operator's license, contingent upon any outstanding debt owed to the city for a period of time between February 11th, 2014 and June 30th, 2015, to Rachel Anderson, Mark Crimmins, Jesse Hoffman, Leslie Tarnowski, and Holly Niveen. Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 5, discussion and possible action for our 2014 city Hudson fee schedule. And you have the issues in front of you. It's the approval. Nancy, you submitted this. Is there any changes over last year? I think that's kind of unless somebody had some specific questions.
There was one charge from the EMS department that was removed. It was for if they had a special request for lifting a patient. So they've eliminated that charge. The other things that I added on there were the charges for room rental here at City Hall.
Okay.
Otherwise, it was just the Parks Department that they had their own list provided.
Tom, did you have any changes or additions to any of the fee schedules? As far as increases or decreases?
We looked at some of the revenues and the expenditures and just felt that we could keep everything flat this year and 0 increases on any fees for the parks or mooring. Was
Okay.
mooring another line item or
Yes,
another?
mooring and
Another
Randu, right.
issue sheet?
Yep.
And the rest of the park fees were approved, I believe, at an earlier meeting. But
Correct.
Nancy's just trying to get everything in one package here so that it's all approved.
Does anybody have any questions, Rich, or?
Was the pedal cabs added?
I think
There
that
it
was,
is.
we
I saw it.
discussed at Park Board, and then I don't know if they needed to get some insurance.
No, this
stuff.
is, he's
it's on
asking
the
on the
fees.
fees.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
There was, that pedal cab issue will come up at a later date.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve our budget, or our fees. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Discussion, possible action of issuance of temporary Class B license to the Knights of Columbus for event on March 7th, 2014 at St. Pat's Church. You have the application in front of you. Any questions? And I need a motion to approve.
Move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I believe this is the first one. Nancy, for the Knights?
Yeah, we have a representative.
Yep.
So they're requesting a beer license for this first application and then beer and wine licenses for 2 more dates, but they haven't been on file long enough yet to bring those to council.
Okay. Sir, would you want to promote your event? If you want to come up here, you can be on TV and promote the event.
Yeah, thank you. Well, this is going to be the 18th annual fish fry that we've had, Knights of Columbus Fish Fry. It's quite an event, and it's great food. We've got baked and fried fish and root vegetables, green beans. It's with a variety of other things. It's heart-healthy choices. You've got fish and chip choices, or you've got gluten-free options as well. So we're geared for quite a crowd and would invite all of you to attend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We don't have a motion yet, do we?
No, we do not.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. Willie, the next item on the agenda is the action and ordinance of 1-14 amendment to 2014 appropriation ordinance.
We have traditionally done a year-end budget transfer, which we did at the last meeting, and Catherine felt in order to be in full compliance that we should do this as they come up. So we'll be doing this throughout the year. The one item in here, by moving the funds, right now contingency sits in the general government category. By moving it out of that category into its own category, which is part of this motion, you can move things in and out of contingency without us having to publish them. So that'll save a lot of that. We'll still have to have it approved, but we won't have to do this publication. And there's just a couple of 2 of them relate to moving funds that weren't spent in 2013 into this year's budget. So these will come through periodically this year.
Does anyone have any questions on that? Just more housekeeping, just clean up?
Yep, we're just going to do it when it happens as opposed to doing it on an annual basis.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any more discussion or any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Next item is the discussion, possible action on acceptance of a 2014 urban forestry grant from the Wisconsin DNR. Mr. Zulli.
Last fall, we submitted a DNR forestry grant, and a few weeks ago we were contacted and said that we were selected as a recipient of that grant. In the application, we had 5 different areas that we'd like to, 5 different portions of the grant. The first one was EBA detection. Part of that is where a lot of some of the urban forestry board members attended first detector classes. I'm signed up for March, and it's just classes that we can go around and do sampling and get early detection of emerald ash borer. As part of the tree inventory a few years back, part of the recommendations were to remove some of the low quality and smaller ash trees. We'd like to continue with that. The third portion of the grant project would be to treat some of the ash trees downtown. There's a chemical, pesticide that's it's called triage, and it's good for 3 years. We'd like to just protect some of our signature ash trees in the downtown area in the Lakefront Park. Number 4, reforestation. The June 21st storm of last year, the city lost over 100 trees within the street rights-of-way and parks. Along with that, the drought the year before took the toll on about 100 pine trees in Anderson Park and White Camp Park. So last year alone, we lost over 200 trees. We'd like to reforest as part of this program, and when we get down to the 6th portion of this, I'll get a little bit more into that. I'd like to, as part of the grant also, we'd like to maybe hire an intern to go through and identify some risk trees, not only for insurance purposes, that we can have documentation that we did a citywide inventory every year and try to treat or remove any hazards that we can see. Also, that intern would update some of the trees that we've lost last year and update our tree software.
We did that last year, didn't we? Or is it 2 years ago?
The
tree inventory.
That was over 2 years ago.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So getting back to the reforestation, Urban Forestry Board went to the U of M last year, and it was different classes. And one of the classes was that you buy bare root stock in the spring, which are probably a third the cost of balled and burlapped or potted trees, and you construct a barrier 18 inches, 2 feet. You fill that area with sand, gravel, a mixture of sand and gravel, and you keep that watered throughout the summer. And next fall, when the trees are dormant, you plant the trees right before freeze up. And the tree roots that are in this median, the gravel sand, are just many, many times, the root ball is many times larger than the tree that, the bare root that you'd get in the spring. So we'd like to maybe get up to 60 trees. Work closely with the sustainability group from the high school and see if we can get that off as a project also. It seems very interesting, economical. We think we can get a lot more trees for our money there. So the total grant is $37,000. It's a matching grant, so we'd have to come up with a little over $18,000. Again, like some of the portions of the projects, we can get credit for our equipment, our labor. We have money in the BOGO program, the tree donations. We have a few $1,000s in that we can use for a portion of this also. So
in other words, you have a funding source.
Our operating budget.
Yep.
Some money that we've had from tree donations, and any volunteer or staff time, we can get credit for the rates for those.
Okay.
So I think it's a lot of different things. It's a lot of interesting things. And I think it's really, we're very fortunate to get this grant.
Questions for Tom? Yes.
Somewhat for Tom, maybe even Catherine. I mean, it's great. I'm glad we got the grant, but when we do this stuff with the DNR, they tend to like to tie our hands with rules, regulations, what we can and can't do. Is there anything in this that says that kind of, number 11 under the special conditions concerns me, and I don't know if that's just for the certain projects they have in mind or us as a park board as a whole. And which it says we have to notify them of our plans. prior-
Well, I think Tom develops a plan on how to use the grant money,
Right.
and then they have to approve it. And you don't, what this contract says is you won't get the payment from them unless you carry out the project according to the plans. So,
We're actually meeting with the DNR representative tomorrow morning. Some of our grants that we've received earlier, we had meetings with them, and there's a procurement policy we have to follow when we purchase trees. We have to get bids from, just like, as we, for our procurement policy. So there's guidelines. We go through that all tomorrow, and
Okay, so let me put it this way, does the benefit outweigh the risk of them telling us what we can and can't do?
certainly there's guidelines. I think that they have to, have guidelines so things are followed according to their rules. But the 2 or 3 grants that we've had before, we didn't have any issues with any of that. They have their rules. We keep close communication. Our representative is from Eau Claire, Cindy Casey. We haven't had any trouble before.
Okay. Any other questions?
I'll move to approve.
Is there a second? I'll second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
You can stay right there, Tom. The next item on the is possible action request of Public Works Director to reallocate 2014 capital budget funds for public works equipment. Issue sheet, reallocation of capital funds for equipment. So basically what you're saying, you'd like to, we had a new dump truck and you want to get a new grader. Is that correct? Is that the?
Can I pull up my sheet here first?
Sure. It's $183,600 that we approved for,
I can't find it here.
okay.
Um,
This is on your 1991 grader.
The 5-year capital plan, we had a single axle dump truck scheduled for replacement for 2014. After the snow plowing this winter, we've had many issues with our 1991 road grader. After speaking with the city mechanic, it's getting very difficult to get parts for that grader. He just felt that if possible, we should consider putting off purchasing a single axle dump truck and replacing the grader.
Tom, how often do you use, is the grader an integral part of our plowing in the city?
It's a big part of our plowing and for snow removal. We had thought at one time,
I know that's
when we did our capital plan, that maybe it was better to get a dump truck and a plow and wing, and in fact we scratched it off. We said, but after this year with the snow removal, the scraping of the ice, that I guess we'd like to reconsider that. It's just for removal of snow in the cul-de-sacs, and for the snow removal downtown, it does a much better job for those projects. Currently, the grader is functional. We had some issues with the transmission. We temporarily got that going, so it's functional. There's some wiring harnesses that the main wire harness is broken and needs to be replaced. There's some hydraulic issues, some leaks, and just the overall condition is getting pretty poor. So,
Tom, has this been to Public Works? Has this gone to Public Works yet?
no.
Do you think it should? I mean,
I guess what
I know it's an important issue. Is it a timing issue on this?
right now, I guess we feel that if we were to trade this vehicle in, if the machine is running, it has a value of probably $20,000 to $25,000 if it's running. If we take this piece of equipment out and use it, and if something major would break, we'd get scrap price for it. We still have a lot of the winter to go. That's why I wanted to, bring it to finance to see if they even consider the
So
changing.
have you received any bids or anything at this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I think the council could make the decision.
Sure.
I'm not speaking on behalf of Public Works,
No.
but in my opinion.
Okay.
And I guess if he's okay trading one thing for the other, and this is more of a priority, I would support.
Well, Rich, you have any?
Well, I think we can get more value out of it because it's in running condition. I think we should take advantage of that rather than potentially giving up maybe $20,000 of trade-in value.
Yep. I know that last time we talked about the grader, it was the grader was going away. I think that's what we.
And we talked about, and then after it's been down for a while, we realized the value of it, I guess.
Okay.
When something's gone, you kind of sit back and say, oh boy, I wish I had that.
Okay. All right.
So we can certainly we do have some prices. There was 2 vendors that said that they can get the graders up to, they'd even deliver them up for us to demo. We can do that.
Can we get them to demo from February till the end of April?
I'll try. We got a few dump trucks this way.
All right. Is there a motion to approve this? Anybody want to make? I'll move to approve.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Any other discussion? You're going to bring that back then when you.
And I can even bring it back to
Well, I mean, with
Public Works on the 25th.
Once you get the final numbers.
final numbers, I want to see what because I guess
You
you
have to be publicly bid. so-
Yep, you're going to have to publicly bid it anyways.
And how do you publicly bid a used grader, other than getting quotes?
Well,
I
that's,
can do a specifications
yep,
and get a general,
What you need for the grader.
yeah.
Yep.
And that's basically what you're doing.
okay.
Very good, thanks.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion and possible action on request of wastewater utility director to fill vacant position caused by retirement. Jim, you're here. Anybody have any questions on Jim on this?
Looked pretty straightforward to me when I read it.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve it.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We have the job description there.
There was just minor tweaks, so we wanted to get that
Yep.
change made.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the possible action of filling the deputy clerk of court vacancy.
Judge Garrity had a conflict tonight. This position was approved, and I want to say late in 2012, early in 2013, at 25 hours. We brought it down to 20 hours, but there's been another vacancy in it, so she'd like to go back out and see if she can fill it. It's 20 hours a week at the most.
Move to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Questions? Anyone? All in favor?
Aye.
Item 12, discussion, possible action of setting a meeting date to review, evaluate, and compensation guidelines for city and to provide direction for update to guidelines.
There was a discussion in December about looking at our performance reviews and whether those could be tied into compensation or what we wanted to do. I've gathered some data and some information, some historical, but before I go off in one direction or another, I thought if we could, and we can certainly do it if you want to do it at a finance meeting, we just schedule it for 6, but I wanted to touch base with you, whether you wanted to do it at a separate meeting or if you think we can do it in a half hour.
I think we can do it in a half hour, don't you?
Then should we do the next meeting at 6 then and put that on?
We can certainly try.
Right,
Yep.
Okay. All right, I'll do that.
Well, I mean, so we go down the same direction, so we doesn't.
Because what I've done is I've laid out historically what we've done and what alternates are out there, and if there's a consensus by all of you that we should go one direction or another, before I, like I said, do too much research and, okay, I'll schedule next month at 6 o'clock, or next meeting at 6.
Okay.
Thank you.
Depending on what we have, we could try 5:45 too.
We'll see what we have on for other items. Okay, thank you.
Is there any other items for future agendas that you'd like to add?
Move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.